Come and get it, everybody. Cairo Feast is online, and we are ready to serve. Today, just to give you a snapshot, of where we're gonna go today. Got a wonderful young man. This guy is awesome. His name is Dr. Cole. Just took over a practice up in Fargo, North Dakota. Really proud of that guy. Great human being, great for our profession, and very excited for him. We were doing a little coaching call, and we talked about networking. And so we're going to go old school a little bit with you, but when I go old school with a younger doctor, these are things that that they don't necessarily even nobody's ever taught them this because these days it's all social media this, social media that, and everything online and Facebook, blah, blah, all this stuff, right? And there is a lost art of connecting with your community and connecting with other local businesses. Do you know that there are other local businesses that would like to connect with you, but they don't know how to do it? So this was a great conversation. It was a great coaching session and conversation about how to connect with businesses in your community. And you have to be intentional about it. You have to have a plan. And then guess what? You gotta do it. So that's the key is you can't just listen to this. So I'm telling you right now. So take notes, come back to this, listen to it over again. I think there's some great nuggets in here. So you're going to enjoy this feast. Enjoy this Cairo Feast episode. We'll talk to you at the back end. I'm going to talk to you about connecting with businesses and how to utilize the business community around you to become the guy that everybody thinks about in terms of chiropractic in your area. Okay. Everybody wants to be kind of the go-to, right? How do you become that person that is like the go-to? And there's lots of different types of practices in chiropractic, and I'm not saying that any of them are wrong. Some practices don't do any marketing. Some practices don't even want to be large. They're happy with just a small group of people that they take care of. And so their capacity is not something that they want to expand or grow. They just want to kind of have this nice uh, practice that they can maintain and just be happy like that. And so there's nothing wrong with that. But in my mind, and so if you can reject any of this that I talk about, so you don't have to be this, but my passion has always been to serve more people and be thinking about how God designed me, and the message that I want to get out about health and wellness, and then also my faith, who I am. The more people that I'm in touch with, the more people's lives I can change and help them grow for the better, right? So in my mind, it's just always been growth minded. There's never been a moment when I have told my staff or my people, let's slow down, let's take it easy, let's coast for a while. That's a word that I don't even know what that means, coast. Um, and so it's always been to serve. And so with that mindset, hey, we want to grow by 20%. And then next year grow by another 20%. And next year grow by another 20%. And then maybe you go, okay, let's not grow by 20, but let's grow by 10%, and then do 4 or 5 years at 10%, because growing smart is better than growing fast. Does that make sense,
Mhm.
Cole?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but it's still about growth, and with growth comes challenges. Because there's only so much that you can do on your own. And Cole, let me just ask you this: so in your practice, do you have another doctor, or are you the only doctor?
I'm the only doctor.
Okay, and
Yep.
there's never been more than one doctor there. Is that true?
At one time, yes. So the reason that's kind of is because since they had two locations in Fargo, they
Okay,
would both be part at both locations.
got it. Got
So there was
it.
only one doctor working here at one time, like during the day ever. But then
Okay.
depending on the day, it could be a different doctor. So.
Got
Yeah,
it. Okay.
the
So
basically one. Yeah.
as we're talking about building these business relationships, and those relationships then add to the growth of the practice, there's going to be more and more for you to have to take care of.
Hmm.
And so then, of course, that means you're busier. You've got more problems to deal with because the more people that you have under your care, and the more teammates you have, and that's front desk people and managers and massage therapists and associate chiropractor. The more people you have that you're responsible for and to keep everybody happy, just the more it gets on your plate, the less time you actually have to be out in the community building these relationships. And so there may come a time when all of a sudden I did a talk a number of years ago at ChiroLife called The Big Gulp. And it was a play on the whole, I think it's 7-Eleven that has the Big Gulp. And, and that's true in practice. So you did a big gulp by buying this practice. Okay,
Yeah.
because now you got debt, right? You got loans. There's risk, and so that's a big gulp. And as you grow things, there's going to come a moment when you're like, hey, why don't we expand into massage therapy? Maybe you already have it, I don't know. But and so you're like, great, let's hire a massage therapist. Let's build out a room and spend money on a table and equipment and stuff like that. And so that's another gulp because you have to invest in it and put time into it before you can then see the benefit of it. Or, you're getting so busy that you're like, man, I need another chiropractor. I need another set of hands. And so you hire an associate. And that's a big gulp because now you got to pay for that person, and not necessarily make money on day one because you're not. It can be 6 months to a year before you even make a dollar on investing in another, expensive person on your team, right? And so there's going to be moments, like that where there's going to be big gulp moments. And another one is, once you like get too big for the space that you're in, and now you need to expand and take on more space. Well, there's more rent that comes with that, but not necessarily more people to take care of on day one. So it takes a while to build enough to actually, grow into it. But it's something you have to do if you're going to keep growing, right? So there's those big gulp moments. Um, but as we're talking about this is something that eventually, when we talk about building those relationships in the community, in the business community, that's something that an associate, you can share those duties with an associate. So, if you're getting opportunities to do spinal screening somewhere, you don't always have to be that person to go. Right now, you're it, man. You're doing all of
Right.
it.
Yep.
And there's a time in practice when you actually have more time than you have money. And you're probably in that spot right now. You've got more time that you can utilize to do stuff versus hiring somebody and spending money on hiring another person to do it for you. Okay. But
Right.
there will come a time in business and in practice where it's going to flip. And all of a sudden you're going to have less time. I don't know, Cole, do you have any kids?
Nope, not yet.
So, right now, no kids. So, I mean, life is a little easier. But, once you start throwing kids into the mix, now your time becomes much more limited. You've got more patients that you're responsible for. You got more family members that are wanting your time and attention. But now you have more money, so you can kind of flip to spending your money on people that can do things for you and that kind of thing. Okay.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so let's talk about the vision for a second, and this is regarding business, networking, and marketing. And I'm going to read off some notes here, so you'll probably see me looking down a little bit. Um, Number one, you got to have that vision, right? What is the vision of this? The vision is to be the go-to chiropractic clinic for the businesses in your community. Now, so let's say it's XYZ Corporation that you want to connect with. Okay, and I think the little screenshot that I sent to you was $8 billion businesses in Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah.
If you would have asked me, like, how many billion-dollar companies are there in Fargo, North Dakota, I don't think I would have said eight.
Yeah, I don't know
You
if I
know,
would have either. No.
I mean, I might have said two, but there's eight. So I just thought that was interesting, and that's why I shot it out to you. Um,
Yeah.
so let's say XYZ Corp is one of those billion-dollar companies in Fargo. You want to be the go-to connection for chiropractic and healthcare for the owners, okay? Because they're probably around, although a billion-dollar company, maybe they spend more time in, Cancun. I don't know where the owners live, but a lot of these companies they start and they just grow in that area. So maybe they're still there in that community. But you want to be the go-to person for the owners. You want to be the go-to person for all of their staff, all of their teammates there. You want to be the go-to person for any of their work comp claims,
Mm.
right? Now, I sense from our conversation that you're doing some insurance work there. So,
Yep.
having some work comp claims that make their way into your office, that would be a nice thing because you can actually decrease the amount of money they're spending on work comp claims by getting them under chiropractic care versus going the medical direction. And remind me to talk to you about this, Cole, another time. But I've got a connection in the work comp industry that helps write insurance for companies to actually lessen their insurance load for work comp, and I can make that connection for you. But um, but
Okay.
but back to the thought process here. Any of those work comp claims that happen at XYZ Corp, you want them to come your direction first, and then you can refer out to neurologists and orthopedists if you need to, and all of that kind of thing. But most of those people you can take care of yourself and save them a lot of money. And then the last thing is you want to be the go-to chiropractic clinic for the customers of that business. Because every business, especially a billion-dollar business, um, they have lots of customers. Now, their customers might be all over the world, right? With a billion-dollar company, that's probably the case. In fact, I think one of the companies up there is Bobcat. There's Bobcats all over the planet, right? Um,
Yeah.
but they probably have a lot of customers in the area and a lot of distribution centers in the area and whatnot. And so people that are connected with this business, you want all of them to have their lives changed through chiropractic. So you are trying to tap into and access the people that are connected to it. It's a little bit like Team Doc in a way, in that when we sponsor a team. We're hijacking that team because they have a team meeting with all the parents and all the kids and all the coaches, and we're hijacking their meeting. We're coming right into it. They already had the meeting scheduled, and we're coming right into it, and having access to those people. And so you're in this situation, we're hijacking, if you will, their company. Their company gathers this group of people, and now you're coming into a gathering of these people. And so that's kind of the secret sauce as you look at any kind of marketing is if you can use your intelligence, you're young, you're well spoken, good communicator, nice looking guy, you're fit and strong, and you've just got this great package. And if you can put yourself in front of human beings, these human beings will be attracted to you. They will want to be around you because of what you offer: intelligence, kindness, a great spirit, a helping spirit, your fitness mindset. So many people need to change their lives, and get into a better lifestyle of wellness. And they don't necessarily know why they need chiropractic, though. There's a huge problem with that. But that's why you're going to teach them, and they will
Yeah.
be attracted to you. But you got to have a way to have these people gathered so that you can access them. And that's the secret sauce, is we just got to figure out that way to get in front of them. Does that make sense?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, so the next thing is, and this is probably the hardest piece of this, and this is where so many clinics then will fail. And the question is this: well, how do I get in the door? Like, how
Yeah.
how do I don't how do I go there? And because I don't know anybody there, how do I get in? Who do I talk to? And that kind of thing. And so here's some tips on what you can do in order to get in the door. You would be absolutely shocked at how many people you know. Okay, now I know you're relatively new in that community up there, but even with the limited amount of people that you already know, you'd be shocked at how many people you know that know somebody that works there at XYZ Corporation. I guarantee you right now, you know 10 people who know somebody that works there, but you don't know who those 10 people are, right?
Right.
Because it could be the person that you talk to at the gas station down the street. It could be, somebody that you know at church. It could be the Sunday school teacher. It could be a daycare provider. It could be your next door neighbor. I mean, you don't know who it is. And so you need to start getting your message of what you're requesting to all of the people that you're in connection with. So, and I call this exhausting your connections first. Okay, this is the first thing you want to do because if you know somebody, now you can name drop. Okay, now you're gonna wiggle your way in because you are a friend of somebody that is in there. Okay, so
Hmm.
how we do that is start by asking your patients. And you can be very direct with this. And this is another thing chiropractors are bad at is that um, we don't, in general, we don't want to ask for help from our patients. And this is a horrible thing to take away from your patients is the opportunity to help you because you are a wonderful guy, Cole. You're a good human. You're fun to be around. You're obviously a great chiropractor. People will want to help you, and they would be delighted to connect you to somebody. And if you start talking to your patients and you ask this question, who do you know that works for XYZ Corporation? All you have to do is say that. It's kind of like asking your patients for referrals. Do you know anybody that has sciatica? Who do you know that deals with plantar fasciitis? I've had a few patients recently that have had plantar fasciitis. They're getting awesome results. Do you know anybody with plantar fasciitis? Well, yeah, my sister deals with that all the time. She's always complaining. Awesome. And then you get them a health pass and you put your card with it. And you say, please give this gift to them. It's free. $250 worth of services, so that they can get some help here. I can help them. You know, you just have to ask the question, and it doesn't make you look like greedy. It doesn't make you look like you're desperate. And that's the fear that is in the head of most chiropractors. I don't want to look desperate. I don't want to look salesy. All that BS is just plain stupid because when you just are asking folks for some help, hey, I'm new in the community. I don't know anybody at XYZ Corp. Do you know anybody that works at XYZ Corporation? And your patients are going to be connected and you're going to have people that say, oh, yeah, I know the person that works at the front desk there. Or you're going to have somebody that says, yeah, I actually know the owner. He's a neighbor of mine. I mean, it's going to be that simple. Okay. Now, the other way to do that, okay, that's you talking to your patients and you have 100% control of that. Then you can post on your social media platforms. So I don't know if the old owner had a good Facebook following or not, or how many followers he had. Um, but I'm sure that's something that you're going to be developing is a Facebook following and an Instagram following so that you can get your patients, all connected to your clinic and you can educate them through social media. So
Hmm.
social media is not necessarily always the best way to get new patients, but it's a way for you to educate your current patients. And it's also a way for your current patients to share your post with people that they think of that has sciatica or plantar fasciitis, and they'll share it with people that they know, right? So it can turn into new patients, but you're going to put it on your socials, and that way you might get some connections that way. Now, are you currently on LinkedIn?
I have one. I don't think I've ever used it.
Okay,
No. Yeah.
so I want you to change that, and because there's a lot of reasons why LinkedIn is actually a great resource.
Okay.
Now, for a lot of young students and young doctors, you guys haven't been in LinkedIn because you didn't own a business.
Right.
But when you're an entrepreneur and you're in the business world, LinkedIn is serious. I mean, it connects businesses. There's just a lot going on in LinkedIn, but yeah, it's more businessy. It's not social. Like people aren't taking pictures of their food and posting it on LinkedIn. Okay,
Yeah.
usually, unless it's a restaurant that you own or something like that.
Right.
Um, but you can post something on LinkedIn and say, "Hey, I'm trying to make connections at XYZ Corporation. Do any of you know anybody that works at XYZ Corporation?" And people will just jump in and let you know. Now, the same thing is true of these groups that are out there, like I think it's called Next Door Neighbor. Cassandra, do you know what I'm talking about? Next Door Neighbor.
Yeah, it's that app that everybody's like businesses or families or things going on in the community.
Have you ever seen that, Cole? Have you ever heard of Next
No,
Door?
I haven't. Next door neighbor. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I just got to warn you ahead of time. There's a lot of BS that happens on that next. Okay.
Entertaining.
Yeah, it's very entertaining. It's like somebody will get on there and they'll post, "Hey, I saw this suspicious looking guy with a hoodie in our neighborhood, and then I saw him peeing on the sidewalk. What's going on with this neighborhood?" Stuff like that. Okay.
Okay.
But people will also post in there, "Hey, we're new to the area. Does anybody know a good chiropractor?" And if you're connected with this and you're, paying attention to it, you can jump into that conversation and say, "I can help you absolutely," and you can call that person or give them and get them into your office right away. Now, hopefully, you have a few of your patients that are connected on Next Door Neighbor, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you got to go see Dr. Cole. He's awesome." You know, so stuff like that happens all the time, and so you can jump into even Next Door Neighbor. I think Next Door Neighbor was actually, I think it might have even been purchased by Meta. So I think
Okay.
somebody bigger owns it now. But you can ask the question, "Hey, anybody that work at XYZ company? I'm looking to educate some of their folks, some of their workers on injury prevention, and I would just love an opportunity to meet somebody there." And people will come out of the woodwork because it's just a part of who we are. We are people that want to help. Oh yeah, my wife works at XYZ company. We'd love to help you. You know, and you can use "I'm new to the area" for the next 5 years. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's not 5 weeks, it's not 5 months. You can be new to the area for the next 5 years and keep using that because people want to help new people. It's the Midwest. It's being from Wisconsin like you are. It's Minnesota nice. It's North Dakota. Hey, wow, we got people moving into North Dakota. That's awesome. Hope you like it here. I mean,
Yeah.
right? So people want to help. So give them an opportunity to help you. That's what you want to do. Okay. So the first way to get in the door, exhaust all your connections, and we just went through those different ways to exhaust those connections. Then talk personally to the five most connected people that you know. Okay.
Okay.
Now I know you're relatively new to that area, but if you know the head football coach at NDSU,
Which I
okay,
do. Yep.
which
You were
you
correct
do,
me.
okay,
Yep.
I mean, there's probably nobody more connected to the community than the head coach at NDSU, right?
Right.
So he's on your list, but it might be somebody like your pastor. They know a lot of
Yeah.
people. It might be your hairstylist. Now, I don't have a hairstylist for good reasons. Okay. But a hairstylist, they talk to lots of people. Your dentist knows lots of people. The realtor, I don't know if you bought a house when you went up there.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so your realtor probably knows a lot of people. They probably have a database of people. You could even talk to your realtor and say, "Hey, could you do me a favor? I'd love to get connected with somebody at XYZ Corporation, but I don't know anybody. Would you be willing, and I can do this for you on my socials. I'll put a like a posting about how awesome you did in helping us get a house here. Would you be willing to put a post in your socials saying, "Hey, this is a great young chiropractor just came to the area, and he's also looking to get a connection with somebody that works at XYZ Corporation. If you know somebody, respond to this post."
Hmm.
So the five most connected people you know, talk to them, have a personal conversation. If you need to take them out for a cup of coffee or whatever, then do that. Or if it's easy enough to just text them and do it over the phone like that, then that's fine. Okay. All right.
Got it.
Next one. And I've got to actually have a story about this one, but it's very simple. Walk into the business. Just walk in. Okay. Now, here's my story. There's a company that's about a mile and a half away from my office. And one of my patients works there. And it's a good, solid company. It's actually, the main offices are in Germany, but they have an office in Minnesota. For whatever reason, they picked Savage, Minnesota. And so they have this huge building and they have 250 employees there. And I have been trying. I tried for a couple of years to work my way into the company through my patient that worked there. And unfortunately, the wellness coordinator that was there was standoffish, not committed, bad communicator, just not a good person. Just dropped the ball on me multiple times, and we never got in there. And then I just gave up. Then I was doing a sponsorship at a nearby field, like a sports field. And I actually had my marketing coordinator with me at this event, and we got done with the event. And then we stood there, and I actually had a couple of my associates, and I'm always looking for a coaching moment. And so I took the moment, and I had my two associates and my marketing coordinator, and I said, "You see that building right there?" And they turned and they looked because we were standing in the parking lot, and they saw the building. I said, "I've been trying to get into that building for the last 15 years, and I've come against a wall. I think we should go in there." And my marketing director at the time, it was not Cassandra, okay? My marketing director at the time said, "Why don't we just send an email?" And I said, "No, I mean, that's okay. We can send an email. But you know what we're going to do today? We're going to walk in." And so her and I, now the other two chiropractors, they took off. I think it was a Friday afternoon, and they needed to get to their weekend. And then myself and my marketing coordinator, we walked into the building. And it's a huge building and it has like a reception desk, when you walk in. And we walked up to the counter, smiles on our faces. And I just walked up and I said, "Hey, I know this is really random. And I was just in the neighborhood. So I figured I would stop by one of my patients." And then I named my patient. One of my patients, works here. And I've always wanted to step into this building. And I've also had a connection with the wellness director here. And I'm wondering if you have a new wellness director or if the old wellness director is still here. And she said, "Well, the person that's here has been here for 2 years." I think she said 2 years. And I knew right then that the old person that was giving me all the problems was gone. So I was like, inside, I was like, yes, okay, get that person out of the way. And now I'm going to talk to a new person. And I said, "Is that person available?" And that person was not available. I said, "Well, what I would like to offer is some free services for a lot of your staff because then I named my patient again. He's been such a great guy over many, many years that I've been taking care of him. And I want to give some free services to his colleagues and his coworkers. Oh, that sounds great. I'm like, great. Yeah, if you could just connect me to the wellness director. And then the gal gave me the email and the cell phone number for that person. And we walked away. Then my marketing director went to work, email and connecting with that person. We were in there doing a stress relief break, which I'll tell you a little bit more about what that is, but kind of a spinal screening type thing. We were in there doing a stress relief break within 2 weeks. And we walked out of there after about an hour and a half of being there we had 3 massage chairs. We walked out of there with 25 new patients on our schedule.
Jeez. Well,
And I want to say that was almost a year ago. And since then, we've been back again. And I think the second time we were there, we signed up 9 people. So over 30 people on our books as patients, and some of them are wonderful, nice people, really great people. And just down the street from our office, everything about it was perfect. And we've been there twice within a year and gotten over 30 new patients from that. Now, that doesn't mean 30 new patients started care from that because there's always, people that don't show up and blah, 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 people that don't start care. But we've probably started, I bet you we've started about 12 new patients from that group.
mhm.
And honestly, it was because we walked in. Okay. We just, we didn't chicken out and just send an email. Sometimes it's more effective to just walk in and make a presence. Now, and for our big fish chiropractors, okay, there's nobody in big fish that is like overweight, sloppy, bad communicator, not a good human being. If you're a big fish chiropractor, Cole, look in the mirror. You're what we are, okay? Smart, intelligent, kind heart, wonderful human being. And this is your marketing. You are your marketing. And when you can just put yourself into the community anywhere you go, you will attract people. And so walk in, just walk in. Um,
Mhm.
and if you have a name of a person that works there that you take care of, or somebody that you know, like your next door neighbor, that is the opportunity to name drop. Okay. Um, Now, don't make something up. Don't pretend. Make sure you know the person, or because you don't want to get caught in like a lie or any of that kind of crap. So know the person that you're name dropping, or at least define it. So if it's somebody you don't know well, oh yeah, the other day I was at church and I met somebody, I don't know them very well, but they mentioned that they work here. It's Susie Anderson, and she's one of your employees here. I just met her at church the other day. Okay, so you're not saying that you know her that well, which you don't. But it's a name that now all of a sudden, oh yeah, I know Susie really well, I've worked with her for 12 years. All of a sudden now you're their friend, right? And so
Mhm.
anything you can do to just get your foot in a little bit further so that you can have the opportunity to change the lives there, that's what you want to do. Okay.
Got it.
Next on the list is emailing or texting the contact. So that's what we were relegated to when we walked into this place. We were given the name, and that person didn't know us at all. So, I mean, it could have gone bad again if the person was not receptive to chiropractic, if that person was lazy, if that person wasn't interested. What we do is we do SRBs, that stands for stress relief break, where we come into the business. The most important piece is the organizational piece before we get there, and we send a sign up sheet. And so, depending on how many people we're going to be serving, it might be an hour long, it might be 2 hours long, or it might depend on how many chairs we have. I mean, we went there and we saw the first time we went there, I think we saw 40 people and we had 3 chairs, I think, at that event. And so we were able to kind of get everybody in within about an hour, hour and a half, and we saw everybody. and people signed up for a time for us to do a free, I think we called it a 10-minute massage. What it ends up being is about 7 minutes of you doing a massage, spinal screening, putting your thumb on a subluxation, and then talking to them about the offer, the health pass, free services, consultation, exam, x-rays, whatever you want to offer. But this is not the opportunity to sell stuff. It is better when you can do spinal screenings and actually sell a health pass. Now people have put money down, they're more likely to show up. But when you're coming into somebody's business, you don't want to be selling something. You want to be giving. You want to have the attitude of just out of the kindness of your heart, you're giving something for free in exchange for just connecting with humans. And so in my mind, I'd rather do it that way. So we give free services to the folks. And so it's 7 minutes of massage, spinal screening, pushing on stuff. We have people fill out a little form that they put back pain, neck pain, headaches, auto accident, they'll fill it out. And we just want to capture their name. It's good if we have a city that they're from, in case they're from like 20 minutes away or something like that. An email, a cell phone. So that's the information we want to capture.
Hmm.
And we go in and we can be in and out of there in an hour to 2 hours and set up appointments. Always have your schedule with you. Always set appointments. Okay. You don't want to just give your cards out. You don't want to just get a name with a phone number and say, we'll call you later to schedule something. No, you need to schedule something. You always tell them, let's get you on the schedule for something you think will work. If you get home and you find out that it's not going to work, just call the office and we can reschedule you anytime. But let's pick something out. And like 9 times out of 10, it works because people, pick a time that usually is going to work.
Hmm.
Okay, so the people that you just to add this in, the people that you do want to get the number for. So like when we walked up to this company, when we walked in, the number one person you want is the wellness coordinator. Okay, and usually that's usually the title is the wellness coordinator. Sometimes they don't have a wellness coordinator, so we were prepared. Always be prepared if they say, "Well, we don't have. I'm not sure what a wellness coordinator is. I don't think we have that." Oh, well, maybe it's your HR coordinator. Okay, because sometimes the HR coordinator is also in charge of anything having to do with wellness.
Yeah.
So that would be the number two. But if there's a choice between the two, you want the wellness coordinator. Okay. HR director, they're more in charge of making sure that people have their insurance, stuff. They do the simple retirement plan, stuff, the 401k. They're busy more with administrative stuff, blah, blah, blah. They oftentimes don't want to be bothered with doing events that are focused on wellness for the people that work there. So wellness coordinator number one, HR director number two, number three would be general manager of the company or somebody in management, and number four would be the owner. Okay, a lot of times whoever you're talking to, they are told to keep things away from the owner, because they have
Yep.
too many things to do, and so that's your last option in most cases. But that's kind of the pecking order of those people. Now, the last thing you can do, and we don't do this very often, but something you can do if you've made a few connections, but you're finding that you're not making really good progress in getting things done. Um, like you send a number of emails and you're just not, it's like the person is kind of ghosting you a little bit. Number one, realize that they're busy. Realize that they're not getting back to you. And this is the same case with Team Doc. They're not getting back to you because they don't like you. They're not getting back to you because they don't like chiropractic. Okay. Those are the things that go through a young chiropractor's head. And we get that's Satan, okay? That's the devil saying nobody likes you. You know, you should just quit. You're done in this town. That's the kind of stuff Satan tells you, right? Ignore that because that's not the truth. The truth is, that person that you're trying to reach out to, they're just busy. They got stuff going on at home. They're real human beings that have people in their family that die, or they had to put their dog down, or, they're busy, and you're not high on their pecking order. Okay. You're not high on the priority list. You're down a ways. So you just have to keep showing up in their inbox. And eventually they're like, ah, crap, I got to get back to this Cole guy. He keeps bugging me. We got to get that set up. And so eventually they'll be fine with getting something set up, but you haven't made it to top priority. But one other thing you can do too is you can walk back in sometime and hope that they're there again, and come with a dozen cookies
Mm.
or a dozen donuts from Quick Trip or somewhere, and just say, hey, this is for so and so, Bob Jones, who's the wellness coordinator. He can share with the people around him at his desk. But I just was checking on the off chance that he might be here today. And if he's there, guess what? He's coming down to get his donuts. Okay. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, right? And if he's not there, then now the donuts are going to get to him, right? And he's going to feel bad, and he's going to feel guilty that he hasn't gotten back to you. And guess what? You are all of a sudden now going to get up higher on the priority list, and you're going to get a returned email, and something's going to happen because you just did something that nobody else is doing, and that's buying him donuts. Or maybe it's a free beer somewhere. I don't know. All right. The last thing on this topic that I'll mention is this: um, be persistent. Okay, be persistent. Be relentless. Now, there's a difference between being relentless and being annoying. Okay, your emails should never be read in a way that somebody would interpret them. And that this is what's hard because you got to try to put yourself in the position of the person that's receiving your email so that they don't think that you're being a jerk. You never want to make them feel like a heel by saying, well, I guess you're not calling me back. So here's me reaching out again to you. Sarcasm is not going to work with somebody that you don't know. Even though you are annoyed with them for not getting back to you. So this is the fourth time I'm emailing you. I mean, don't go there. Don't do that. Just be kind and say, you know, I know you're so busy, and I'm busy too, but just wanted to reach out again and get to the top of your inbox. Hope we can get together soon to figure out when we can come in. Something kind. And anytime you have a chance to actually say the words like on a voicemail, I would say that's better than a text or an email because now you've got the tone of your voice, and you can be fun with the tone of your voice, and they can hear it in the way that you want them to hear it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're probably not going to reach them by phone, but you can leave a message, and now they're going to hear the kindness in your voice. And you just know when somebody's friendly when they leave you a nice message. So do that. Also, just remember this: it's a long game. It's not a short game. So, and I know when you're first starting in practice or newly taken over new practice, you want to grow and you want to grow fast. Like you want results right now. And that's what's awesome about Team Doc. And I know we can talk about that, whether or not you want to do that up there. But Team Doc gets results like right now. Like you go do a talk and you got new patients on the books, right? When you're reaching out to businesses, it's a little bit like farming. I mean, you're planting seeds, you're watering them, you're putting a donut next to the seed and you're watering that. I mean, you're working the contacts, you're working the relationship, you're building rapport. That can take time, just like this one that I told you about. I mean, we first contacted them 15 years ago and it went nowhere. But I was relentless enough to say, you know what, let's go back in there. Let's walk in there again and see what we can do. And sure enough, it worked. So don't give up. Just because somebody's not getting back to you or whatever, don't give up. Be relentless. And good stuff happens to those that don't give up. So just keep going with it. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this. Like I said, on the front side, this is all great information. This might be something that there probably should have been a class in chiropractic school. There should be a class in every school on how to connect with other businesses in your community. And there just isn't. There isn't a class, but we just took, I don't know, 45 minutes or so, close to an hour, and talked about ways that you can connect with other businesses, other people in your community. And it's all about being intentional and mapping out a plan. So sit down now and map it out. Take the time to do this. This is what business people do. This is what anybody does who wants to grow and wants to connect. Everybody wants to know, how did you make so many connections? One at a time. One at a freaking time. That's how I did it. And before you know it, you've got a legion of people that love what you do. They love who you are and what you stand for. They like being around you and just want to be close to you because you are excited and you want to be in business and you want to be helpful to them, and you're friendly and confident and certain about who you are and on purpose. So take the time, map it out, plan it out, and then do it. And if you really want to go for it, find a partner, find somebody else that you want to do this with, meaning maybe it's a friend in another city, and say, let's do this together and let's hold each other accountable. If you have a coach like myself, then talk to your coach about it and hold each other, have somebody hold you accountable so that, you get it done. Sometimes people just, we suck at holding ourselves accountable. I've never been that way, man. I never want to let myself down. That's one of my superpowers. And so I have never really needed somebody to hold me accountable that much. But a lot of folks do. Otherwise, it's just too easy to, start scrolling on Instagram or watching programs or, flipping on the TV. So get out there and do this. Stay hungry, my friends. And as always, pay it forward.